Test mic test. Okay, so this is the prototype of the server and the client that I'm working on for this project. All right, some run through with the components that I'm using for this project. First, I have Node.js. Node.js is open source, so it's free. It's JavaScript runtime, so you can run this on a server. And another one is Socket.io. Socket.io is the Socket server that is responsible for syncing the client and um, and the server for applications like real-time chat, games, and anything that you can that you want to program using handshake protocol. Another uh, um, component is Express.js. It's a web application framework for Node. So this is the server that runs Socket.io. Okay, so um, all right, let's look at the code. I'm not gonna explain the code, but as a whole, but just a quick look at what's going on. So I have Node installed. It's version 10.0.10.21. All right, so um, the client looks uh, like this one. So this is basically a dummy page. So this is just a working prototype. So this can be a status message. So you can see it's connected to the server. Then the data here is from the server, and then the global data is also from the server. So uh, global data is basically just all the data that we need to display when the user logs in, and it's automatically synced whenever another client or any process was made all throughout the session. And also now get some data is just a test wherein I wanna get some data from the server. Say for example my credit or my info. Of course, these are being pulled from Coefficient uh, Remoting or CFC, Coefficient Service rather. Sorry. So at the bottom here is the logs that I made a while ago. So this object here is this one. So I was playing around with some data that I can pull from the server. So I have the list here, and then I try to change it. Uh, okay, so let's go back to the code. Um, okay, so what I have here is the Express server code, very straightforward, nothing complicated. See, just few lines of code uh, to set this up. So I have the port. Uh, I have the server listen to port 5000. Of course, this one is uh, user defined. So if you wanna listen to port, like 8080 or 9000, that's possible. And then I have the data here, just for test. So I have this L1, L2, L3, L4, Jigs, Sunny, Joel, and I can add more if I want to. Now this is the meat of the, let's just erase this thing. So this is the main logic of the server. When the user, if once the server detects any connection, so these methods are available for that user, for that client. So socket on, client get news, socket on, client get some data, or I define them. These are basically functions that are invoked by the client, and then in response, this socket server emits a process called server got news, and then some payload here. Say let's change this. See, we wanna change this to all I use payload string. Say for that, just for demo purpose. And then the same thing with client get some data. So I am a new data too. And then on this line, I just basically emit the global data that I defined here once the user logs in, because that's the time when we need to display something on user's end when they logged in. So let's see what's happening on client side. Let me refresh this one. Oh, before that, let's run the server. So we just issue node app.js or app. This is basically the app.js. So the code itself, and that's being run by the node JavaScript runtime server, like that's this one. And let's do it. Alright, so socket server started, socket IO, that guy is the socket server. Now it's listening to port 5000, and let's see what's going on port 5000. Let's refresh this guy. Connect the server, connected to server. Alright, so remember a while ago we changed the news to online news payload string. Client get news, server got news. So this is the news that we pulled from the server, from the socket server. Now the data here, global data, is an object. That one is this guy over here. So we have Joel, Friday, Sunny, Sunny too. So let's see if that is true. In the inspector, we see we got an object here. So when we expand it, you'll see Jigs via Joel, L12 ABC, which is essentially this data over here. So this data can be, an XML or an array or a string or a sequence of numbers or associated arrays. Alright, and now if I click get some data, I'm gonna pull this one. This method client get some data, and then response socket server will emit server got some data, I am a new data too. So basically get server some data is a function in here in the socket server that's being emitted and being handled on the client side. Let's do that and see if we get this string. I am a new DML too. Alright, so there we got it. This is already a working client, so you can have multiple client that runs and you will get the same data. So see, um, so this really is a working client server. Alright, and if I could get some data, I'm interested in new data too. Okay, so on the client end, alright, so before I go to the client end, see on my right side are the logs and debugs. That's what's going on a second server. So you have the heartbeat packet. So this is basically sync already without any complications, and you'll see what's going on. Also, you'll see the data that's being transmitted by the second server. Alright, so on the client side, you can see that this is just basic HTML with the jQuery. So the news span is here. So news content is empty. This is being populated by the calls on scikit functions. So that one is this guy, and you can see that we have the data from the server. Same thing with the global data and connect data. So on a client side, we basically just have a handlers for the server functions. If you're gonna recall, server.news is a function that is being emitted by a scikit server.news. So and then it would just only pass some payload to the handler on client side. So server.news basically log the news. So this is just a jQuery function to write that news returned by the server on some HTML div, so we can display it. Same thing with got global data and server got data. Then we have the button functions. So when you click it, you get some you call the get some data, and that's basically it. The same thing with this guy. So we can have multiple clients already, and they would function all the same. So they're basically the same. So this is already working right for a client server. I think the next approach would be the admin panel we're in. I was planning to make a form where I can type in some data and values, and that would reflect on the global data. Probably we can format the data now, put some tables, and display the data that we got from the server. And then on the admin side that we will program, we'll put in some values, and what it should do is reflect the data on the client side. So yeah, that's basically it. Just few open sources applications and some codes in here and there. This is basically all JavaScript. So this is very ideal with displaying data on HTML page without using Flash, and less complicated and very fast. Plus, it's free. So um, I think that's about it. All right.